here's what happened. Things are not working out right now. I know I'm probably stating the obvious, but the results that you're looking for, what you want, it's not happening. And so you could feel like you're holding yourself back in the impact that you want to make through the people you want to serve with this business that you're building, or holding yourself back with taking care of your health, taking care of your body as you're building this business. But whatever area it is right now that you are feeling like you want to throw in the towel, the point is, it can be like you can imagine it for this burnout beast. Right now, it's like it has the upper hand against you. But what I want to remind you of is that there is still fucking time to fight back against this burnout beast, specifically the burnout beast's weapon of choice, chronic stress. And so you could be feeling that stress right now, the pressure that builds of how the hell to switch up so that you don't throw in the towel for either one habit that you're dealing with right now with consistency or the series of habits. And the answer to this right to start is variety. Making sure on some level that there is variety for you. This is Make Burnout Extinct. I'm Robert David Weeks. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't done it yet, you can subscribe and follow the show for the latest episodes. I'm excited for this commitment to share with you and be honest with you of what it actually takes to make burnout extinct. Based off of my own experience of hitting burnout back in 2018 after I founded a social media conference where 500 people came together. By the end of it, mentally and physically exhausted, I wasn't able to do a year or two for this event. And how I define burnout is a major life transition that is forced on you by your body. And in the setting of business as an entrepreneur, that means you have to close down the business because you cannot handle either the growth that's happening in the business, and so you don't have that capacity within your body to handle that growth, or to handle the challenges and the intense amount of stress that can come up in the business. Either way, with hitting burnout, how you think about it is that stress that builds in the body. And if you are not actively or putting awareness towards consciously releasing that stress out of the body body eventually is going to force it out. And one of the ways it can do that is by causing you to go and hit burnout. And that's something I don't want you to have to experience because it comes with a lot of unnecessary suffering and pain that I wouldn't want on anyone else to have to experience something like that. So thank you for being here. Let's dive in. What I want to talk about is how to make consistency less boring before you throw in the towel. And that comes back to variety, having it on some level. We all need variety on some level. You think about your favorite show or food. If you're watching that 24/7 or you have that meal every single day, it can get to this point where it's boring. And so I want to help you to leverage variety at scale. And it's reminding yourself that you don't have to be perfect in the consistency of every single day, putting in the reps with the same exact method or style or way that you've done it for this specific habit. You could still do this every single day if that is something that you feel is manageable for you for the long-term success of consistency, but it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. Because if it was, then you wouldn't be thinking about throwing in the towel right now. So that is something I want to remind you about. I got an interesting story with this. Yesterday, I was celebrating my birthday with my life partner Adriana on my rest day. Technically, my birthday is the day that this episode is going to go out. But I was watching like 4 episodes with her of the latest season of Andor. Big Star Wars fan, so I was able to watch that. The newest one that just came out. I was hanging out on the couch, and it feels nice to be on the couch. I'm a big fan of hanging out on the couch watching my favorite shows. I'm cool with that. But I know when I am doing something that is causing me to avoid another habit. So I'm able to do that for watching the season, the 4 episodes of Andor, because I know that tomorrow, aka today, for when I'm recording this, I'm able to continue to get my movement in, my workout, get the work tasks done I have to get done today, so that I can continue to move forward in what it is I'm building in business and then for my own quality of life. So I've gotten to that point. But what could be happening for you is that you are getting to this point where you might be distracting yourself. You might be watching your favorite show on the couch to avoid having to do that other habit that you want to be consistent with, but you're getting to the point where it's feeling really boring. And so that could be the consistency of getting outside for a walk, getting the intense workout in, whatever that looks like for you for the habit, I want to tell you, you're not alone in this. I've been there for experiencing trying to avoid these habits. And so variety can be really helpful. And I want to get into that a little bit later on. But first, I want to share with you this new term that you can remember: focus flexibility. Meaning you have to realize where your focus is with this specific habit that you're working on, identifying what is that habit or series of habits, and then reminding yourself that there are three phases in the habit formation process from a body-based perspective. And so I want to go through this from what I've realized through my own habits, talking to others, and helping others in being consistent with their habits. The first phase is the awkward phase. Then the second phase is angry phase. And then the third phase is the autopilot phase. And so, of course, the goal is to get to the autopilot phase. That's what a lot of messaging is out there for when it comes to how to be consistent with your habits. It's like we all would like to get to that point, but it does take hard work, putting in the effort to make it happen, and moving through moments where it can feel boring and you can have a lot of resistance that can come up. So the awkward phase, how you can think about it for the body, is this feeling of embarrassment, feeling awkward, feeling like something you want to just like, if it's clothes that is itchy, you want to just take off the clothes. It's that feeling of, how is this going to fit with my schedule? It's going to be awkward for this habit. Like that can happen, of trying to adjust with your schedule, making sure you're showing up. If it's an extra, like a series of exercises that you're doing to focus on your health, it may be awkward at first for these different exercises. But then as you put in more repetitions, and it's different for each person. I mean, there's no set number here of how many days or weeks or months, no matter how many 90-day challenges you see out there. But it's different based off of what's going on in your life. But then you can move into the angry phase. And for the angry phase, that is where you can experience resistance that comes up. Where you get angry and you don't want to show up and you get pissed off. I'm like, I don't want to do this today and this workout today, or eat this food today that's going to make me feel energized, or get outside. Like, fuck this. I don't want to do that. And so it's like a tantrum. It's like a baby having a tantrum. Like, you can think about it, have your own tantrum. And so what happens, that can be where a lot of people get off track. And so you skip 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And then before you know it, a few months go by and you're like, oh, maybe I should get back to doing that workout or eating that food that's energizing for me rather than the garbage that I'm eating. So that is the second phase. And then you get into the third phase, which is the autopilot phase. Easiest habit to think about for that is brushing your teeth. You don't have a lot of conscious effort you're putting towards the showing up and brushing your teeth. It happens. I mean, nobody's perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We've had those days with brushing your teeth where we're like, shit, I got to brush my teeth. But for the majority of the time, it becomes really easy to show up and put the reps in. But you have to remember how long you've been doing that habit for, because the more repetitions you put in, the more familiar then the habit is going to be for your nervous system. And so with anything new, what can happen for the body is it can create uncertainty for your body, because your nervous system could take it as a potential threat, a perceived threat with something new, because it's unfamiliar. And so what can happen is the body can go through a stress response where then you feel this resistance, this pressure. How I imagine it is pressure balloons. I think about it where if you deal with something that causes you to feel stressed, what that really feeling is for a body signal is a pressure. And then you imagine it like this pressure balloon that fills up in the body, and that is filled up with stress. And your body, it's different for everyone, but you have a certain amount of capacity to be able to handle enough of these pressure balloons before, if you are not actively popping these pressure balloons, what will happen and releasing that stress out, what can happen is the body will then cause you to have to release the stress out in some way. And one of those ways, as I've mentioned before, is hitting burnout, which again, I don't want for you to have to go down that one-way ticket to hitting burnout. So the job for you as you're building this business and wanting to grow in not only the business, but with this business, but also grow in other areas of your life and for the quality of life that you're wanting, is remember you have to continue to open up more capacity to handle the growth and to be able to make sustained change. And that comes with popping these pressure balloons. And how you can do that is through the habits that help you to feel energized, to help you to feel like you're able to close out the stress loops that can build, and that help for your nervous system to bring you back into balance. And now it comes into remembering for the autopilot phase, you still got to go through the awkward phase and the angry phase. And my guess is you might be in either one of those awkward or angry phases right now. Because if you're in the autopilot phase, yeah, there are going to be those moments of it feeling boring, but it doesn't get to that point where you're going to like think about throwing in the towel unless there's a desire for a change from the body. And that can go into then the belief system, which is something I'll talk about a little bit later on. But either way, it's asking yourself right now, which phase are you in? And did you even realize that you were in a phase of the habit formation process? Because even that can help for your body to feel some openness and even to feel less of that pressure or the tension right now that could be coming up for you with specifically thinking about or feeling into this habit that you have to go show up for. And to remembering that this is temporary. So no matter how much resistance is coming up from the body with your habit and that feeling of wanting to throw in the towel, it's reminding yourself this is temporary. And if you continue to show up and put more of the reps in, you're going to then move on to the next phase. But what I want to deal with and help you navigate is in the moment dealing with this feeling of wanting to throw in the towel, where it gets really fucking boring. Because I also believe in enjoying your life. And that's where I think of watching my favorite show or watching the latest season of Andor. I wouldn't say it's my favorite show, but it's a really good show. That's where I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy spending time with my life partner, Adriana. Like there's a bunch of other stuff I like to enjoy doing. So I believe in that as well. And I don't think you have to go through like just fucking battle every single moment of every single day. But if you want to take that on for this battle for the habit and that's your thing, cool. It's just leveraging for you what variety can be like in your life. And so what I want to get into is understanding the levels of where to include variety. So you can include the level of variety in the habit, in the day, in the week, in the month. You get the picture here, the bigger picture of like then the year or quarterly or then yearly. And so it's knowing what variety looks like and feels like in this specific habit. So how you can think about it for an example would be going out for a simple habit like going out for a morning walk. So how you can think about it for the habit is the walk. You got to get outside for a walk. You could actually not just do that in the morning where you can mix it up for variety is you could do that in the middle of the day. You could do that at the end of the day. Or the amount of time that you're spending is another place you can add flexibility for variety. So instead of spending 30 or going for a 30-minute walk, maybe you try a 20-minute walk or 15, 10-minute walk. Or you can do a 40-minute walk, or you can break it up throughout the day. Do 10-minute increments throughout the day. So that's how it can look like on the habit level and the day level is like thinking about it. Then it's the week level. You could be telling yourself, okay, I'm going to actually continue to do this morning walk, but I know that let's say I do the walk Monday through Friday. I know on Saturday, something that's going to help me with variety is actually going out and walking in a different, let's say you're walking right out, or I think about it where I'm at here, Santa Barbara. I'm walking outside and there is a hill that I can climb up for a road, but instead I could go up to a trail if I wanted to mix it up with that variety. And that's a way I can create variety. Or you could look at how do I add more variety in outside of this specific habit? Maybe I'm just been grinding, working, staying at my house, putting in the hours, getting the morning walks, doing all the different things, but it still feels very boring. Okay, what else could I do? I could switch it up for where I'm working from. I could go to a coffee shop. I could go to hang out to go to the beach for a few hours or an hour and try to do some work out there that's recording content, if that is voice notes, sending voice messages to people, if that is just looking at different emails on my phone or typing out new ideas. But how could I break that up so that I can then continue to show up and put the reps in for the morning walk? There's so much opportunity here, but what I want to help you to figure out is where to put your focus towards. And specifically where I want to start it with is with that focus flexibility, bringing that now into the habit. And I'm going to go through an exercise with you that can help you to determine if this is something for a habit that you want to actually continue to move forward in and put the reps in? Or do you want to switch up the habit? Because you think of, what does the walk, let's bring back this example of going for a morning walk. What is that actually doing for you? If we were to think about it, well, one would be it's creating movement, right? Movement literally produces energy in the body, which is so cool. So wild. And so then I can channel that energy into the work tasks or other areas of my life. That'd be cool. Okay, but do I have to do a walk? Could I dance? Could I get an intense workout in? I mean, there are different styles of the habit that I could do. And so maybe it's something to do with actually this walk. I don't really want to walk. I may want to run instead. So that is something to think about for the habit itself, for the actual variety of the form of it. So movement is one. Well, what could be another one? It's helping me to get out of the house. All right. Could there be other things I could do to get out of the house? Well, yeah, I could go to a restaurant at night, like for dinner. That could be nice. I could go and hang out I could work outside. That could be another one. I could bring my work and just do right out here in the front door. There's a little space there with a chair out there. I can work out there. So is that what I'm wanting for putting in the reps with this habit? But it's important to figure out for yourself, what is the reason, the why behind this habit for you. Understanding that and reminding yourself, is this going to be the habit that's going to help me to do that? And so I'm going to go through a series of questions you can reflect on for this to help you out. And then I want to get into the belief system here for why even this thought is coming up, or the feeling is coming up of wanting to throw in the towel. So what we can do together here is I'm going to go through an exercise asking you a few questions. So together, let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Hold, and release out through the mouth. This is going to be a reset. Get settled in, because there's a lot of info I just shared. You can take down a few notes for ideas that are coming up for you. But even now, you can think about or write out that habit that you are wanting more variety with, so you can, or to make it less boring. And so what I'd like for you to do now is just wiggle your toes. Let's wiggle them. Now bring your awareness up and notice if there's any places you feel pressure in the body. So bring them on up to the calves, knees, thighs, stomach. This is where I hold a lot of pressure. Chest, arms, bring your arms up, head, and then like a dating app, let's swipe to left, get rid of it. Whew, swipe it out. Okay, so you're checking in. I believe one of the most important skills to learn in like the next decade moving forward is the mastery of communication with your body. And so your body is constantly communicating to you through the signals that it's sharing. One of them is pressure, relating to these pressure balloons of stress. And so where did you notice your pressure? Or did you have any pressure? Just maybe some other things I shared with you helped you to feel more open. Felt like maybe even the shoulders dropped more. Felt expansive. Felt safe. So remembering what I shared and how your body responded, that'll be important to take those notes down. Like, what was that thing? Maybe it was the 3 phases, realizing I'm just in one of the phases. I'm going to help you to do the same thing with now these questions about the habit itself. And so the key is noticing if the pressure expands more, or you think about this for your whole entire body. Do you contract more and close in, feel more pressure, or do you open up more and expand out? That is going to help you to not only listen to your body, but then help to figure out how to interpret the signal that your body is trying to communicate to you. Because when you constrict and you close in, that can be, and it can be different for people. So you got to figure out what resonates for you. But usually what I've noticed with constricting at this point in my journey with habits, constricting means that this is something I need to think more about. I need to understand, there's something here for message that I don't understand for if it's a habit I should move forward in, or I should change up or let go. If I'm feeling open and expansive and like I'm feeling safe, open, that's then I feel in alignment with the message that's coming through of like, whatever the answer is to these questions, I'm like, yeah, that's the answer. Now I can figure out what I have to do for the adjustments to be able to move forward. And so I've always noticed with the openness, that's like my go-to signal. Like this is an alignment. This resonates. This is it. Fuck yeah, let's go. Okay, so that helps. All right. So now, what I'd like for you to think about is your answer to this question: do you like doing the habit that you have in mind, or that you're thinking about, that you're feeling into? Do you like to do that habit at least 80% of the time? Yes or no? So now we're going to test it with the body here and see if that's in alignment with your answer. So, or feel into that alignment. So wiggle the toes, bring your awareness down to your toes. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Let's move on up. Bring it up to the calves, to the knees, to then the thighs, stomach, chest, body scanning, checking, head, arms up. Woo. And then swipe to the left. Let's get rid of it. Woo. Let out. All right, for the reset. All right, settling in, feeling. What was the answer for you from the body? Is it in alignment with what you're thinking? All right, let's take another deep inhale through the nose. Release it out through your mouth. Moving along. Got 2 more questions for you. All right, this next one. Do you like the feeling after doing the habit at least 80% of the time? Yes or no? Now, with that first question I asked, if it's a yes, you like doing the habit, okay, well, now it's figuring out for yourself where variety comes in, right? It's because it's different for your situation, my situation, like our habits. It's going to be different. So it's figuring out for you, okay, I like the habit. Where can I add variety? What does that look like? If it was a no and you don't like to do the habit, okay, well, now it's coming into, was it about the feeling that you like? You like the feeling, so maybe you could switch up the habit and it could be something different. All right, ready? So wiggle on, let's bring the awareness down to the toes, wiggle the toes, wiggle the toes. Bring the awareness up, calves, knees, thighs, stomach, chest. Bring your arms up, head, and then swipe to left. Let's get rid of it. All right. Did you constrict more, or did you open up more? And then does that feel in alignment with the answer that you have? Because with this one, if you like the feeling after doing the habit, maybe it's just reminding yourself there's going to be some resistance here. You could be in the angry phase, the pissed off phase of the habit formation process. So you just got to keep putting in the reps, show up, and you feel great afterwards. And you could test out a few days of trying different styles for the morning walk for variety. Instead of just doing it right outside your front door, you could go to a park or try a different route. Mix it up for the route and see for the path you're going on, and see if that or feel into if that helps to continue to put the reps in. Okay, moving on to the next one here. This is the last one. So this one to reflect on. Do you like the challenge of doing the habit at least 80% of the time? Okay. Let's wiggle, bring our awareness down to the toes, wiggle the toes, wiggle the toes, wiggle, wiggle, bring awareness up, calves, knees, thighs, stomach, chest, arms up, head, woo, and then swipe left. All right. How about that one for the body? Take a moment to reflect, feel into it, more pressure or more openness. Because what can come up is you may be pissed off of having to get that walk in, but you fucking love that challenge of getting pissed off, showing up, putting the reps in. And that is fuel. I mean, you can use that as fuel to continue to stay consistent until you move it into the autopilot phase for a new habit or for the habit. And so it's reminding yourself that it's temporary. And with variety, you can either mix it up of try different things to make it more challenging and see if actually that makes it more exciting for you to want to show up and put the reps in. But it's figuring out your way, not what you may see out there that people are saying is the most successful way or the best way, or you should try that. People are going to should on you all day. It's for you to filter that through. What do you want? What do you want for these habits? How do you want your quality of life to be? You think about that in the business. How do you want to build your business? You can take the strategies and notice which ones resonate, which ones are actually giving you the results you're wanting. And that comes back to this. You can leverage whatever you got to leverage in order to stay consistent and making sure that you enjoy it, you like it, it's fun. And some level, even if fun might not be the right word, but you love it, right? You think about people that are staying consistent with the habits, it's because they like the habit. It's not because they're just like, I'm showing up, I'm putting the reps in, and this fucking miserable. It's actually really hurting my quality of life. Like, I don't enjoy this at all. None of this is fun. None of this is exciting. Because it comes back to it's fueling them. And so it may be because of the challenge, because it's something that's really hard and difficult. And so that's the fuel. Maybe it's not the habit itself, but still it's something that they like. Similar to me, why I do certain habits. There's so many ways to get to the result that you're looking for and what you want. And I go back to the quote from a mentor of mine who I really appreciate and admire, John Butcher, who states, there is no one right way, but there is a right way for you. And it's taking ownership of that and accountability for yourself. And so for you now, making a note through your answers of these questions, what I've shared with you, what can be the adjustments you can make for the variety with this habit so that you can bring more variety into your life and be able to notice and adjust. Is there a difference of how you show up for putting in the reps? And then if there's not, continuing to test. It's important to give yourself next few days to test out for variety so that you can continue to stick with this in the long term for a habit. And then there's going to get to a point where it's going to have to change, because as you continue to grow and develop, you're going to be having to look at this from new perspectives and new ways and new strategies. And so it's remembering that change will be there and it'll happen. But you'll be able to then choose when you let go of these habits. And that comes back to then the belief system. It's remembering that there is a belief system where you have certain beliefs in the driver's seat of your life. And bringing it into this specific focus, you may have that belief originally that you are not consistent with new habits. And what I want to tell you is that is a bullshit belief. There may have been a reason it was there. It could have served you in some way of keeping you safe, making sure you're staying familiar at the certain level that you're staying at right now. But that still, over time, can not only cause you to hold yourself back, but then not courageously move forward in tapping into more potential that's within all of us. And that is something I don't want you to have to experience, of that unnecessary suffering and pain that comes with holding ourselves back. So much of the burnout beast's fuel can come from us holding ourselves back. That's where this chronic stress can build, because we're letting fear in this specific area of the belief that I cannot be consistent with new habits be in the driver's seat. When instead it's remembering that you're consistent already. It just might not be the consistency that you want. Because if you aren't showing up and putting the reps in and being consistent in the long term, well, then you're really fucking good at being consistent in avoiding the habits. It's just taking a moment to shift and be able to channel it in a direction that's actually going to be able to empower you and move you forward. And I want to tell you, if you haven't heard it yet today, I believe in you. You have the capabilities to be able to listen to the signals from your body and make those adjustments to your habits and on a deeper level to those belief systems, to the belief system that is in the driver's seat of your life. You got this.